Trump has been testing an expansion of executive power, often through immigration, and he keeps losing in court. A Colorado federal judge ruling Venezuelan migrants detained there can't be transferred and must get several weeks' notice before this effort to continue to use war powers to deport people. Trump's DOJ stands accused of basically hiding information about that big controversy over the mistaken deportee. The lower court judge has been slamming the administration's willful and bad faith refusal to comply with discovery obligations. The ACLU says the government's also not complying with the Supreme Court order we've been covering to provide detainees with an opportunity to challenge deportations. The solution they want is basically more binding, tough enforcement. Two migrants also are filing that they got deportation orders after the Supreme Court said they should be halted. That could be an oversight. Sometimes that happens, or it could be basically a willful violation of a Supreme Court order. So the theme is the Trump administration testing and pushing to see how far it can go, how much it can get away with. And the due process issues are major, especially because Politico reports there is a vivid cautionary tale here, both legally and politically, if the wider public sees this as the government, the federal government under Trump abusing power to take away people's rights, something that has long been a fear on the right, as well as just how the Constitution works and saying the government can't disappear people. Other experts say the constitutional crisis is here now.
The constitutional crisis that I kept on thinking naively we would not get to is here.
The emergency is here. The crisis is now. It's not 6 months away. It's not another Supreme Court ruling from happening. It is happening now.
The administration said, we're just not going to bring him back. Well, that is the very essence of a constitutional crisis.
Do you think that the country is currently in a constitutional crisis?
Oh, yes, we are.
This is the emergency. Like it or not, it's here.
It's here. It's the emergency. Supreme Court orders being all but flouted, or, according to some, flouted. And don't sugarcoat it, because that will become part of the problem. If we are there, what do we learn from? Because we're certainly not the first country to face this kind of slide away from democracy. Well, there's a renowned journalist, Maria Ressa, who's actually spent her career as a journalist and then ultimately as a kind of defendant dissident, reporting on the Philippine President Duterte's regime. She faced the retaliation that has still been darkly warned but not quite happened against American journalists. She was prosecuted for something they called cyber libel. She has also won in most of the legal skirmishes against her. Her commitment on these issues earned her the Nobel Peace Prize in 2021. We're not just talking activism or journalism or speaking truth to power in the abstract. We're talking about someone who fought, risked everything, and according to many, won. You faced a repressive leader who posted online on social media, oh, they should arrest you, and made it a hashtag, and it's trending. And initially, you say people didn't know how seriously to take that. 2 years later, you were arrested by that government for what many would call journalism.
Yeah. I think this is what Americans, most people on social media don't get. This is a behavior modification system. In that one, they trended hashtag arrest Maria Ressa in 2017. Right? And when that comes, I was getting an average of 90 hate messages per hour. So this isn't just fertilizer getting ready for the arrest 2 years later. It was also a way to tear down credibility. You're seeing all of these things happening now here in the United States. And then when I was arrested, I was in shock, but it was a wake-up call. But simultaneously, it almost feels like people thought, well, maybe. And that's the seed of the doubt that you need to actually fight.
We have a sitting president who is term limited. There is no constitutional legal way for any president to serve a third term. With everything going on, and he's got his hands full with his own trade war, he says publicly he wants a third term. He's not joking. He will hold on to power, he says, past 2029. And a lot of elites in this society, some people are just busy trying to make a living, as I point out, but a lot of elites and others say, he's just saying that. It's a negotiating position. Is there a risk in not taking a repressive leader seriously when they tell you they're being serious?
I don't know how much more evidence you want in terms of vindictiveness and action, right? If you don't take it seriously, when you're facing an instance like today, you wind up losing your rights every step of the way. The way democracy shifts is it doesn't happen all in one chunk. There isn't a red line where, is it democracy? Is it not democracy? You just get weaker over time. And if you don't act while you're still strong enough to protect your rights, then you've voluntarily given up your rights. And these are all stages. And look at what the Philippines is America's former colony. You know, I joke all the time to say we spent 300 years in a convent and 50 years in Hollywood. We have a constitution like the United States, 3 co-equal branches of government. The exact same thing happened with Rodrigo Duterte that is happening here. Very strong executive, legislature that he essentially, the 3 C's, he co-opted this. Corrupt, coerce, co-opt. And because there was no check and balance, then he also was able to consolidate the judiciary. This is why I had 10 criminal charges against me in a little over a year. But then what happened was that the rights that were violated during that time period, first, rule of law goes, right? So media attacks first, media capture, from social media to media capture, to academic capture, to NGO capture, to state capture. Duterte crushed our institutions within 6 months of taking office, and the United States, this administration is moving faster.
Faster than Duterte, in your view?
Faster than even I thought.
What is the lesson in the pushback? Because at some point, things got so extreme that how did you start to win?
Communities, people who were afraid. So the difference between the United States and the Philippines is that we had a brutal drug war that human rights groups said killed, by December 2018, 27,000 people. The police admitted to 7,000 people, but regardless of the number, right? So there was this, the fear was violence, which, you know, I worry again about America. But beyond that, here the fear seems to be money. The fear seems to be us against them.
But was there a turning point? You're facing these charges on the one hand, and then on the other hand, you're internationally recognized, and that regime ultimately crumbles.
Actually, no. I feel, you know, until today, I have 2 criminal charges left, and I have to ask the Philippine Supreme Court for approval to travel. When you lose your rights, it doesn't come back to you automatically.